The competition is Wall Street. These giant multinational, and probably seen this quote floating around the internet, right? It sounds like house flippers here. We're talking about the biggest names in the... So, let's talk about something that's hitting close to home for a lot of us. Literally, the housing market. It's not just that prices are crazy high, it's about a fundamental shift in who is actually buying the houses. We're going to dive into the rise of a brand new kind of landlord, one that's based on Wall Street, and figure out what it all means for that classic dream of owning your own home. You've probably seen this quote floating around the internet, right? It sounds like something straight out of a dystopian movie, but what if it's not some crazy, far-off future? What if, for millions of people trying to buy a home, that first part, the own-nothing part, is slowly becoming their reality? You know, for generations, owning a home was kind of the bedrock of the American dream. It was a sign you'd made it, sure, but it was also the #1 way for regular families to build wealth. But lately, that dream just feels impossible for so many. So that's the big question we're tackling today. Is homeownership actually dying? And if so, what's taking its place? Well, to get to the bottom of that, we first have to understand who you're really competing against when you try to buy a house today. And let me tell you, the answer is probably not who you think it is. Think about all those frustrating stories you've heard. The insane bidding wars, houses going for tens of thousands over the asking price. You probably picture another hopeful family on the other side of that bidding war, right? But more and more, the winning bid isn't coming from a family at all. That's right, the competition is Wall Street. These giant multinational investment firms are now huge players in the single-family home market. They aren't looking for a backyard for their kids to play in, they're looking for an asset to add to their global portfolio. And we are not talking about some small-time house flippers here. We're talking about the biggest names in the world of finance. Firms like BlackRock and Vanguard, which manage trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars. They are now systematically buying up entire neighborhoods, becoming the new landlords on a massive scale. So the big question is, how are they doing it? How can a massive corporation consistently outbid a regular family who's just trying to buy their first home? Well, it all comes down to some pretty serious competitive advantages. Okay, check this out, because this slide really lays out the mismatch perfectly. A typical family, they need to get a mortgage, which takes time and sometimes falls through. They need contingencies, like getting a home inspection. But an investment firm, they can just walk in with an all-cash offer, waive all those contingencies, and promise to close the deal in just a few days. I mean, if you're the one selling the house, which offer are you going to pick? It's a no-brainer, right? This is a big deal. And it's about way more than just a few lost bidding wars. This whole trend has the power to fundamentally change our society and how we think about the places we live. And you can see the potential result right here. As these corporations gobble up more and more single-family homes and turn them into rentals, the number of houses you can actually buy just shrinks and shrinks. That scarcity drives prices through the roof, which pushes even more people into renting. We could be watching a massive shift from a nation of homeowners to a nation of renters. And this could lead to something that some folks are now calling a permanent rental class. Just think about that. A future where building wealth through owning your own home is something only a few can do, while everybody else is stuck paying more and more rent to some faceless corporate landlord forever. So where does this all lead? What does the future actually look like when a home stops being just a place to live and instead becomes just another asset on a global spreadsheet? What do we lose when our communities are owned by algorithms? And that is really the question we want to leave you with. If the path to owning a home, which has always been such a core part of the American dream, is now being controlled by massive financial institutions, then who really holds the keys anymore? Is this just the new reality we have to get used to, or is there another way forward?